We're gonna talk a little bit about staying on Universal. Universal is gonna keep it rolling, and they're gonna try to reboot the Dark Universe. Now, you remember when they tried to do the Dark Universe with the Mummy, starring Tom Cruise? That was gonna be their
I'd
beginning.
rather not.
So yeah, I remember we did a reaction for that when it first came out, and for what I was reading about this Dark Universe, I was like, fucking. When I saw that trailer, I was like, this is not what I was expecting at all. Did you like that movie, or what was your thoughts on that Mummy?
Like that movie was really disappointing for me because like they said that they were making a return to classic horror. So
Yes.
like in my mind, I'm envisioning Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I mean, what they pitched and what they told everybody is, we got all these monsters, and we're gonna do a shared universe, a monster universe of like kind of like a horror tone, like a shared universe, basically like a horror shared universe, but they're gonna use these monsters. That's an interesting idea because it hasn't been done before. And you had the Marvel did a shared universe. It's like a superhero with light in tone, comedic kind of universe. So I am down for other people trying to share a universe, but uh, stop trying to copy what Marvel did just because it worked. You know, you can just take the basic idea and expand upon it with your own shit. And that's where they went wrong. They tried to make it an action superhero universe using monsters. Am I
Yep.
wrong?
I mean, like clearly that's where they were heading with it. But I mean, why else would you have Tom Cruise becomes the Mummy?
Yeah. And it's the thing. This the thing. Like I said, they pitched like it was gonna be, a horror monster universe. And then when the Mummy came out, when I first saw the trailer, it looked like an action movie, like another dumb action movie. And then when I saw the movie, it was another dumb action movie. And I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? And then the way they kind of start to bridge the universes was they was doing the same shit that DC made a mistake. They started bridging the shit together too fast, where they had Russell Crowe played Jekyll and Hyde. It's like, yeah, we got this organization where we find monsters and we find extraordinary beings or whatever, and we fight evil or something like that. And the things that won't work with them, they keep them locked up or something like that. I think that's kind of how it was, right? Is that how I
Yeah.
think? Yeah. So basically, they try to say they already had this organization established. Jekyll and Hyde was in charge of it. Dr. Jekyll was in charge of it, but he was locked up too because Mr. Hyde had come out, which it ain't nothing but
Mm-hmm.
Russell Crowe with a bad Cockney accent. I'm like, oh my
Making a
god,
mean
y'all.
face.
Was that
Making a mean face.
they could have tried so? Ooh, God, they could have done so much better. So I mean, basically, and then what's his name? Tom Cruise was gonna be the Mummy, and they was gonna have I think Johnny Depp, and they was gonna have what's her name? Angelique Jolie as Bride of Frankenstein, and who was gonna be Frankenstein? I forget. Harvey L. Bardere was gonna be Frankenstein. That's the guy in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
People don't know him by his name, but they know him by his face because he got a distinct look. Um, he almost looked like Frankenstein, so that's probably why they said, "Yeah, you good for Frankenstein," or excuse me, Frankenstein
Phoenix.
monster. So I forget who else they had. They had and Russell Crowe as Jekyll and Hyde. So they had all these big names. These are A-list actors, but y'all tried to do something too fast, and y'all just basically used their name to push some shit that y'all thought was gonna work, and it was failed, flop, miserably failed. The Mummy did not make nearly as much they needed to make. They spent too much on it, and also once you got Tom Cruise on there, he would drastically change your movie. For what I hear, Tom Cruise he'll bring his own writers in, and if you like got a movie, he'll be like, no, I don't like that shit. I have my writer write up what I want, and this is what I'm gonna do because I'm Tom Cruise and I can fucking do it. And that's what happens if you put Tom Cruise in your movie. From what I hear. So that was doomed to fail, man. If you do that, that is doomed to fail. And it did. It failed, man. I heard they had all these writers ready to make all these movies. And since the first one flopped, everybody just like kind of like jumped ship. So they just closed their whole division. They gave it up. Now, what they're gonna do is they're gonna reboot it with Blumhouse attached to it. Jason Blum is the guy who do all these horror movies for cheap and makes a lot of money. So they're gonna redo all those, and then they're gonna use Invisible Man as the starting point of the universe. So what do you think about that? It appears that we have lost James, and I was talking to myself for a while. Let's see here. Are you there, my friend? Well, it says you there. Okay, well, I'm going to finish discussing it myself. I don't know if he come back or whatever. All right, so what I was saying is they're going to do this shared universe starting with Jason Blum. Produced by Jason Blum, and they starting with the Invisible Man. Now, I'm not sure who they got starring in there. I like that idea because the idea of this shared universe starting small is a good idea. You got one monster movie. James, you back? Dude, I hear you breathing. Anyway. I hear something. Hello? All right, well, I guess his phone tripping, so he'll come back. He'll enter the discussion. He'll get back to the discussion whenever his phone get back on. But it's a good idea to start off with something small. Now, I think Invisible Man is a pretty good idea. Now, they did have Hollow Man come out, like I think that was like early 2000s with Kevin Bacon, which is pretty much Invisible Man's story. But for what I heard, they're going to do that original H.G. Wells story. Now that was the original Invisible Man book. They're going to use that original story to kind of kick off this universe, which is kind of cool. Which is really cool, where you start off with him. Now I'm not sure how they can bridge these universes, but these monsters. But instead of starting off big like they did with this big budget action movie, you start off small with a low budget psychological horror. Excuse me. And then you can add Jekyll and Hyde, because Jekyll and Hyde ain't been too many good adaptations of Jekyll and Hyde to me. Where okay, that's fresh. That'll be kind of fresh. So you got Invisible Man, got Jekyll and Hyde, and I heard they got like Phantom of the Opera. Creature from the Blue Lagoon, Black Lagoon, or what's the other ones? Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all them. Those are your more known ones. So you get those unknown ones first, and that's how Marvel did it. They start off with the unknown. Not the unknown, but they start off with the stuff that wasn't big or never had movies. So when they start off with Avengers, they start off with Iron Man. Iron Man never had a movie. Captain America was known a little bit, but he never had like a solo cartoon or nothing. So they started off with stuff that people wasn't really that familiar with, the casual fans wasn't that familiar with, and they went from there. That's a good idea. So you start off with Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, Phantom of the Opera, stuff like that. Then you start bringing them all together. But not to form some superhero team. You need to find another way to bring these monsters together. Not Avengers style. That's not going to work. They need to stop that. That formula definitely not going to work. I am going to try. Say I'm still in the call. I don't know what this fool doing. Bet this dude put me on hold or some shit. Hold on. James. Dude. This motherfucker fell asleep. All right. I ain't gonna stay on long, but so anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I just had to talk about that Hobbs and Shaw, and I don't know if James fell asleep or that motherfucker just phone stopped. I think he fell asleep, y'all. He gonna lie about it though. No, I wouldn't sleep. My phone was acting up. You know how people do that. They'll lie to the. They'll keep lying and keep lying until they'll never just want to admit when they just did something wrong or whatever. Anyway, I just want to do a little discussion on that Hobbs and Shaw and talk about the dark universe. I think it's a good idea, and I'm really glad that Blumhouse is attached to it and not no big budget thing. We'll start off with a small universe of monsters. Keep it real horror centric. Gotta go rated R. Don't try to do that PG-13 so we get all the kids in there. Forget that. You gotta go rated R. You gotta make it a terrifying, horrific universe. It's gonna be a rated R universe, but companies always want to do PG-13. It's gonna make more money, but that it's not gonna work for what you got. So you rather flop trying to do the PG-13 or at least try something new with the rated R horror thriller psychological thriller universe. So I'm on board for that, and I can't wait to see what they got going for that. And I just want to I'm gonna keep people posted on when I find more information out about this Invisible Man movie, who's gonna star in it. I think I heard the person who directed Saw is gonna direct it, which that's even good news to me because I really like the first Saw movie, and I like some of those movies, not all of them, but some of them I really like. But I did like that first one. Oh, now this dude calling back. Now watch it. Oh yeah, watch. He say he wasn't asleep. Yo,
Hey,
what's up, man? You fall asleep?
nah, man. Like the video started cutting out, then I had no sound.
Right. Totally, dude. I hear you. That happens. Or you fell asleep.
Look, that's neither here nor there.
Man, I swear I heard you snoring, dude. But you know what? We ain't gonna even go there. We gonna go with the video, the sound cut out. We got you, man. I got you. At least you wasn't on air, right? Anyway, so I was just finishing up my discussion on the dark universe. I just think it's a good thing that it's Blumhouse. They're gonna start small. They're gonna start with Invisible Man, and and they're gonna do it individually, and they might try to share them like later down the line. They're not gonna start off with that shit they did on the other one. What's your final thoughts on that before I wrap this up?
I'm just happy to see them approaching this sensibly, because when DC started off, like you and me both said multiple times, y'all ain't ready to go all in on a shared universe yet. You know, establish your characters, build your world, and then you can come in with the shared universe, because all the groundwork's been laid already.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the whole thing. You can't just say, oh yeah, we when people try to do this little shared universe too quick, it's like, oh yeah, we done already did all this stuff. Now watch us come together and all this. No, you have to get everybody on board with everybody that's gonna be in the shared universe. Then you put them together. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest mistake on that monster universe is saying that, oh yeah, we already got this organization that hunts monsters, and you just one of them. And like where did this come from? What is this? And now it's like, oh, we're gonna recruit you to actually help fight other monsters. So basically, they was trying to do the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's basically all they was doing, and that's been done before, and better. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, no, that's not working, dude. Uh, they try to do Avengers with monsters. That definitely ain't working. So yeah, that's all I want to just talk about that movie. It was not. I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Um, the Mummy was not. Did not kick off a universe, and I got high hopes for this universe that's coming out, man. Your final thoughts is: do you think it's gonna work, or do you think it's gonna work, or do
If
you
they
think it
let it
can
work,
work?
it will.
So do you think it can work then?
Yeah.
Right. The question is, yeah, I'm not. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I think it can work. But I think they got the right idea, starting small.
Like, cause that's always been a good like mo for any kind of horror movie is like if you don't try to do too much, you can make a really good horror movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. A lot of horror movies based on, the sound design and the camera work and the acting. You don't
Yeah.
need big budget explosions and all these crazy set pieces and all these stunts with helicopters and shit. You don't need all that shit. uh,
Because like at that point you don't even have a horror movie anymore. You got an action film.
I know, and that's what they did with the Mummy. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I appreciate everybody for checking us out, and we're gonna be out, and yeah, yeah, and then we gonna do some. We gonna get some what's the name was next week. But like Tuesday, we'll try to do the review on what's the name? What movie was that?
Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah, Velvet Buzzsaw and what's that? And some other stuff. Whatever else going on, we're gonna try to do some more reviews of new movies. And the Battle Angel Alita is probably be the next movie we'll do. That's coming out next week, ain't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that shit. Hopefully it's good. And we out of here.
Like and
Peace.
subscribe. Peace.
Yeah, subscribe.